So we have seen this earlier as well, that there are two forms in which we have our data, structured and unstructured. So there are different methods like regression, trees, etc. that we have learned earlier works well on structured data. But when it comes to unstructured data, their performance drops drastically. So here comes the neural network as our savior. We have neural network which can handle the unstructured data like no one else can. That is the reason this is one of the most powerful methods currently in use. Furthermore, there are instances when the number of features are very high and all features must be included. In that case, neural network outperforms other algorithms. So let me give you an example for this. Suppose we have an image of a car and we want to build a classifier which can distinguish between a car and a non-car. Basically, it can identify that it is a car by just looking at the image. Okay, so we know that an image is nothing but a grid of n cross n pixels, where each pixel has some color intensity and all pixels are collectively called as an image. So if we take out one pixel, then we know that the color of each pixel is made of the primary colors, that is red, blue and green. So now we know that each pixel can be defined by a 1/3 vector. That means if we have an image of n cross n pixels, then it will have features equal to 3 cross n square. Now let's say our car image is a 50 cross 50 pixel image. That means it has 3 into 50 square features. Now don't you think it's way too many features? And techniques like logistic regression becomes computationally inefficient here. So in situations like this, neural network comes as a savior for us. And that is why it is considered one of the most powerful techniques available out there. So now that we know why it makes sense to use neural network, it's about time that we learn it. So let's see what is a neural network. Neural network is a machine learning technique which is modeled on the human brain, and it is used to recognize patterns from the data. That is the reason it is called neural network. Neural network attempts to mimic the human brain. So we can say that there are different algorithms in human brain and our brain uses them based on the task at hand. Or we can say that it learns to do things from our experience. So the latter seems more sensible as we are not programmed human beings and we learn things with our experience. So in the same way, a neural network also learns things with the experience and it looks something like this. It has an input layer which is equal to the number of features plus one bias unit. Then we have a hidden layer. The hidden layers could be any number. In general, it is 2 to 3 times the number of units in the input layer. So hidden layer is the layer where all the calculations are performed to give the output. Then the last layer is our output layer. And the units in the output layer will be equal to the number of classes of the response variable. Now the units in these layers, which are denoted by the circles, are called neurons. So the input layer's consisting feature is also called as initial neurons. Then we have the bias unit, which is given in the input layer and it is taken as 1. Now as far as bias neuron is considered, it is like an intercept, which helps us in adjusting the output. Now if you wish, you can read more about it, but it is not that important for us right now. So just understand that bias unit is considered as 1 and it is just customary to add it, which basically helps us in adjusting the output. Now the hidden layer has neurons which has an activation function where all the calculation takes place. We will see the activation function in detail, but this is just to give you an idea how this entire thing works. Also, if you have noticed, the notations that we are using are shown here on the screen. Here the number in superscript denotes the layer and the number in subscript denotes the neuron. So here 2 denotes the layer and 1 denotes the neuron unit. So it means it is the first neuron of the second layer. So keep this notation in mind because this is the notation that we are going to follow throughout our topic of neural network.